So we've lost our building equipment. We've lost 2 vehicles. Now I'm on the verge of losing a house. And now once that happens, basically as a man, you're left with nothing. And remember, before we came to work for the government, the Nairobi County Government, there are other places we used to work at. And that's how we had gotten resources to own whatever we owned before we went to Nairobi County. But 3 years down the line, we are on the verge of losing absolutely everything that we had. When people hear about guys getting auctioned, guys going into depression, they think it's a joke. It's not, Lynn. We are seeing it in real time. Almost every time you'll hear somebody communicating in our group that you remember so and so, and you start asking, where did they go to? And you hear now things became tough in Nairobi, they decided to go back to their village. And for me, it beats logic, because a number of times I've seen the governor telling Nairobians that they've surpassed their collections, their targets, for the money that they had planned to collect for that financial year. And when we see that, of course, you will clap, because you know now you have the hopes of you getting paid. They are becoming a reality. Then you ask yourself, now, last year Sakaja said he passed his collections budget, same as this year. But where is that money going to?
Yes. Hey guys, welcome to today's episode of LNS. My name is Lynn Ngugi, and honestly today we just have a conversation with 2 gentlemen who are here to ask the county government to pay them their dues. So I'm not going to make this intro so long, because for me it's important for us to be able to listen to them and also forward this to the relevant bodies who can be able to help them get back what the county government owes them.
My name is Kennedy Gitau Kibathi, a law-abiding citizen of this country, a father, a businessman, and I'm happy to be here.
Karibu sana. Yes, sir. How are you?
I'm fine.
Yes.
My name is Joe Joroge Kimani, and I'm a Kenyan. We work with Ken, we are partners.
Yes.
And we do construction.
All right.
Yes.
It's really good to have you here. I know also it's under unfortunate circumstances.
Yes.
I think it's very sad when we meet to have a conversation on pending bills and seeing how that affects us, the citizens. You know, we are used to hearing these things, but we don't honestly know how bad it is for the Kenyans who have submitted work and they've not been paid for it. So, but maybe before we get any further, why is this conversation important for you?
Well, Lynn, it's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah.
Indeed, we never thought we'll be having such a discussion, but the reason why we are here is basically to highlight the troubles that Kenyan businessmen are going through after working for government agencies. And when we were signing contracts, we never thought that it will get to this level. But here we are, 3-4 years down the line. And we just need to be heard and talk to the concerned agencies so that at least they can come to our aid. There's this new buzzword going around of pending bills. But very few people understand what those people who are owed by the agencies go through on a day-to-day basis. So our reason for being here is just to highlight the issue, put a face on those people who are owed by the government, and of course reach to the people that owe us to pay us what belongs to us. Yes.
Joe, why is this conversation important for you?
To me, it is very important because it has been assumed that the word pending bills is something normal. Some people think that it is a department in government, or it's another account where money is kept or something like that. And it is something that has really costed people a lot of money. Others have even committed suicide. And children have gone without school fees. Properties have been auctioned. People have sold their properties to deliver these jobs, which we got from the government. in very competitive bids.
Yes.
We won because we were the best. And we were the best because once we got the jobs, we did deliver 100%. They were approved by the engineers, and we had done our part. But the government failed us desperately. That after 3 years, not a single cent has been paid. Not part of it, not a quarter, not nothing. Well, you delivered 100% and were left paying loans and such other things.
All right.
Yeah.
I want us to get deeper because he's spoken about two key things here: competitive bids,
Yes.
and you put in the work.
Yes.
So maybe for people who are watching, maybe to get started on this conversation, could you talk to us about the projects that you have been involved in? And also when he said you got the deal because you are good at it,
Yes.
could you walk us through the process of getting or acquiring a tender from the government?
Okay.
Yes.
No, it's the procurement process is well known. It's an open secret, if I might say so, because basically the procuring agency, what they does, when they have set up a budget,
Yeah.
every financial year, every institution from the government, they set a budget that guides them on what they are going to procure for that financial year. So so once a budget has been set, the next thing is to look for companies or people
Yes.
to deliver on what they've set to procure. So most of the time, they'll put their bids on the national newspapers. They'll put them on their websites. And if you're interested to work for any institution, we are always encouraged to be checking on those opportunities because they are rare, they're hard to come by.
Yeah.
So in our situation, basically, we've been working for several government agencies. We've worked for companies like Kenya Power. We've worked for REREC, that is Rural Electrification and Renewable Energy Authority. And during COVID time, remember, most of the institutions were not giving those opportunities, or they were not advertising for those opportunities. So while one day we came to know that the county government of Nairobi had advertised for opportunities, we tried. So by trying is, you read the you check on the documents, their requirements. So they'll tell you, you must have this number of, you need to have this experience, you need to have this number of teams, you need to have this amount of resources in terms of money, and you put your bid. So the bidding process is, you go through the document, read, put in your documents to show that you qualify for that opportunity. And an evaluation is very thorough, because I remember for all the jobs that we advertised for, all the bids that we submitted, you could find that we were more than 10 or 15 companies applying for those opportunities. So for us, our secret of winning the bids is to make sure that we are very competitive commercially. We don't put so much margin, because our aim is to get more projects and we execute them within the shortest time possible to reduce on the project cost. So the reason why we got those projects, I believe, is because technically we were qualified.
Okay.
We have the experience. Our balance sheets matched what they were looking for, and commercially we matched what they were looking for also. And that's why now they picked us. And as my colleague said, after we got those projects, we delivered within the times that we agreed on.
Okay.
And so, as to answer your question, for you, the process is, you check on an opportunity, apply for that opportunity, make sure you put in a very competitive document in terms of the customer requirements, and then you hope for the best.
All right.
Yes.
So here you are, you've put in your bid, they've chosen you because you are the best. Could you walk us through now, what projects are we talking about, and who gets to finance for these projects? Do you complete the projects and then you go get the money, or how does that happen?
We have done our bid.
Yeah.
They've gone for pre-qualifications, and we are chosen. We get the contract because we are qualified in all spheres, including approval by KRA, bid boards, ability to deliver, and all this. So after getting the approvals, then we are taken to to site. But before that, we of course visit the site. We see the job so that we can know what we are bidding for. And now when we are shown the job, we start mobilizing. It's all our money. There is mobilization. There is acquisition of the materials to deliver the job. Of course, and then there is the mobilizing the workforce.
Yeah.
And then we get on the job. We do, and at every stage, it is inspected by the engineers and all other authorities of the government, and approved, or you are told to repeat a given section if it is not to their satisfaction. And when they are satisfied, we do to completion.
Okay.
We go to the bank. Sometimes we don't have enough resources. Go to the banks, seek for resources. We go to individuals. We get
the
loans, and we deliver.
So now, the workforce mobilization is you, the finances, that's you.
Yes.
So everything 360.
100%.
100%,
Yes.
that's you.
Yeah.
In your case now, what are these projects you worked on? Is there a contract
Yes.
that you signed between you and the county government agencies? And how much did you use for this? And in terms of the contract again, when were you to be paid fully for work and services provided?
Okay. Now, we've worked on 3 projects. One project is at a place called Maroroi in Roysambu Ward. It was a construction of a road. As a matter of fact, the project is called rehabilitation of Juakali Maroroi Road project to Cabro level. The project was quite capital intensive because the contract value was 16.5 million Kenya shillings, inclusive of VAT. And as my colleague said, our expectations were, or in our previous life, when you're working on such a project, you are paid on milestones. So basically, you'll mobilize. Once you mobilize, you raise a certificate. After certificate, of course, you continue working after you've mobilized your resources from all the quarters you mentioned, bank loans, savings. Some of us, we went further and even liquidated our pension fund so that we can do this project, as I said, within the shortest time possible. So you asked me about the projects that you worked on.
Yeah.
So there is one that one for in Roysambu Ward, Juakali Maroroi Road. It was a road project. Then immediately after, we moved to Hamza Maringo Ward. There's a clinic called Bahati Clinic. It's well known within for those guys who stay in Eastlands because it's known because it offers specialized services for patients with chest complications. So we also worked on that project. Our target is always to make sure we deliver on quality and we take the shortest time possible. And as is mentioned, we always work with our clients' engineers.
Yeah.
So we also worked on that project. And remember, when we were working on that second project, we had hoped we'll be paid in the first project so that we're able to mobilize funding. Now, unfortunately, money didn't come for the first project. And here now we're on the second project. And once you get into a project, you don't stop. You'll do whatever it takes. Lynn, even if it means you're going to a Shylock and you're given very punitive financial terms, you'll go for them. Because for those people who've worked in projects before, they'll tell you, once you stop, once you demobilize from an ongoing project, demobilizing again, it's very expensive.
Yeah.
So you'll try to make sure that once you start, you complete the project up to 100%, where it's now certified by the trans engineers. So we worked on that project. The good thing, all these projects I'm mentioning, people can go and pay them a visit. They check on the quality and workmanship. Now, when we finished on the second project, I remember His Excellency the Governor called all the contractors who works for Nairobi County. This is around October of 2022. And he mentioned that he understood the challenges that we are going through, especially with delayed payments. As a company, we had thought that we shouldn't take the third project until we are paid the first two. But out of the meeting that we had with the governor, I hope the governor can remember, because we were many of us at City Hall. He told us he felt our pain. Sorry, and he encouraged us that if we had any works ongoing, we go ahead and finish. And he was going to see to it that we are paid in good time, and we continue, of course, working for Nairobi County because we had proven ourselves. So with taking the governor's word, we went again. He sold one of the properties. I was one of his witnesses. We mobilized
his personal property.
His personal property, yes. We went again and took a loan from one of the banks. I used my house, my home, my family house as a security, and we got funds. So that project is based in Dandora Ward. That is Dandora Phase 3. It's a box culvert, another expensive venture. And we went to site in January of 2023 under very harsh circumstances. For those people who've never been to Dandora, going there for the first time, it's not an easy place. But what do? You have to deliver on your promise, and you have a contract to honor. So we went, did our work, and within 3.5 months, we were done. And we got our completion certificates, which I'll give you the copies for your reference. And since then, now after we delivered on our project, the next phase is to go to ask for our payment.
Yeah.
And now that's where I will say the rubber met the road. Yes, and that's the reason why we are having this conversation.
All right.
Because after delivering on the 3 projects, we haven't received any coin from Nairobi County. Yes.
Joe, you wanted to add something?
Yeah, when we were summoned by the governor, he was very fresh, and he called all the contractors. He said that he knew the level of corruption in the county government, and he also mentioned something that he had called for all the files of pending bills, and they were a big heap. And then he sent them for verification to see the genuine ones and the fictitious. And when they were brought back to him, the pile had shrunk down, meaning that so many were fictitious and they were hidden away. That is one of the examples he told us as to how he came to learn the level of corruption in the county government. And he told us that he was equal to the task and he's going to make sure that would be paid. And that drove us to the 3rd project. So it was very disappointing later that he did nothing, if I should say. And what we are shocked about, Lynn, is that at times they get money to pay some
Bills.
Projects, not everything, but at least an amount of money. But the criteria used is something that we don't know. But it is bedeviled by a lot of corruption, if I should say. Because you'll see fresh contracts being paid and some of the old ones picked.
Yes.
Of course, these are some of the contracts whose owners have given their kickbacks also. I'm not ashamed to say that. And that is the criteria used. We wouldn't mind if they were being paid from the ones which have been waiting the longest and then coming forward the current ones. But there are no such criteria used.
It's purely random.
It is purely random.
Okay.
It is hidden, shrouded with secrecy. So our work is timing on those corridors throughout for the past 3 years.
So it's 3 years already?
Yes.
Since you delivered your last project?
Yes.
And collectively, how much have you used in those 3 projects?
Well, as I had said earlier, because this is a competitive process, even if you are qualified technically, you have to make sure you're also very competitive when it comes to the prices that you put in. So more often than not, we usually put between 15 and 20%.
Yeah.
And now having said that, if one project probably is about 16 million. So you can tell our profit, gross profit, not even net profit, gross profit is about 20%.
Yeah.
Now, if you go into details and now you start putting all the costs that are associated with that project, you'll find you're barely making 10%. You know, there's this notion that most people tend to think that contractors have a lot of money.
Yeah.
Lynn,
Especially if it's a government
exactly
tender.
Exactly. I think I'm qualified enough to tell you that if there are people who suffer when doing whatever they do on a daily basis are contractors, because we handle very intensive projects, capital intensive projects. And now, when you're putting up a markup of about 20% gross, and then that money is delayed, and remember you took loans, so there's financing cost.
Yes.
So if a project, if it costed you about, for example, 13, 14 million to do that project, and you're hoping to make maybe 1.5 million within 3 months, but that money is delayed for over a year plus. So what happens is the finance cost come and eat into your project cost.
Yes.
Where it even overshoots on what you had quoted for. So for the 3 projects that we've handled, our cost is coming to about, we raised about close to 30 million Kenya shillings, targeting to make about 7-8 million within a period of less than 1 year.
Yes.
Which in our current situation, how our economy is doing, we thought it's better. We could have done better. We could have undertaken other projects, but you can only do what you know. So the money that we are claiming from Nairobi County, and as I said, I have the evidence with me, is close to 40 million Kenya shillings. Yes, and now having waited for that long, our costs have already surpassed what we are claiming from Nairobi County. And if you are not paid now, for example, the security I put in, that for loan he took, my family house, it's at risk. I'm not sure how long the debtors will give us before they come knocking on our doors. And basically that's the only little thing that we are remaining with. Because whatever we had before, as he put it, and mildly so, and we are trying to be very mild here, we've lost more than what you are saying. You used to probably had your equipment, because as a contractor you need to have your own equipment, but the auctioneers, when they come on your door, they'll pick at whatever they want. So we've lost our building equipment. We've lost 2 vehicles. Now I'm on the verge of losing a house. And now once that happens, basically as a man, you're left with nothing. And remember, before we came to work for the government, the Nairobi County Government, there are other places we used to work at. And that's how we had gotten resources to own whatever we owned before we went to Nairobi County. But 3 years down the line, we are on the verge of losing absolutely everything that we had. I had mentioned earlier, personally, I've been in this field for over 18 years. So getting to work for Nairobi County tells you that I've worked somewhere else before.
Yes.
And whatever I had worked for all those years is on the verge of being taken away. And that's why we are here, Lynn, just to plead with the necessary authorities. We are husbands, we are fathers, we are brothers. We have families that we come from. The expectations of, there's what we expected of us. And you can imagine a fully grown man like us losing that ability to provide for your own, and even losing that small house that they call home. So that is one of the pain that we are going through. And I know when I speak, I'm not speaking about myself. I'm speaking about on behalf of so many people probably who are fearful of coming to the limelight and speak about their issues. But at times, you have to take one for the team and talk to the relevant authorities just to hear you out, just to pay you your dues. Because basically, we have contracts, we signed contracts. And for me, what bothers me most is when the governor called us for that meeting in October of 2022, he personally told us that he was the one who came up with a bill when he was serving as a senator of Nairobi to make sure that business people are paid within the required timelines. In most cases, when you work in such projects, you expect at worst case scenario to be paid within 60 working days. Worst case scenario. Assume probably there are issues that have come about during the payment process. Then within the maximum of 90 days, 3 months, you ought to be paid. But now when you wait for 3 years and you don't see any intention or any effort from now the contracting authority to pay you, you have to get feared. You have to you start asking yourself questions. Why is it us others are getting paid? You can imagine, Lynn, we worked on 3 projects. We've not been paid even one. Yet there are guys who are coming after. For whatever reason, they work on one project and they get paid. And you worked for the same institution. You are supervised by the same engineers who are very qualified. I have to state that. Because most of the projects that we handled, they were thoroughly supervised. So after going all through that process, now you ask yourself, what else do I need to do for me to get paid?
And the worst is that banks and other debtors will not understand the story that we are telling here. They don't understand. All they want is their capital, interest, and it's spiraling. When the dollar fluctuates, that interest adds up. Children and families will not understand this whole story. So you are left to burn on your own. Yeah. It's that painful.
You're on a TV show begging the governor or the county government to pay you.
Yes.
So I don't know why that kind of breaks my heart, because I don't even think you need to be on a TV show or on a YouTube show pleading with the county government to pay you what they owe you, but it's something that he has mentioned. The banks will not understand this.
No, they won't.
The debt collectors will not understand
Shylock.
this. The Shylock will not understand this. Mentally, how are you guys?
Well, somebody might see us putting up brave faces, smiling, and think everything is okay. Lynn, to be very honest with you, things are very tough on us. Very, very tough on us. As I said, we had some small monies when we were getting into these projects. And then we talked to other banking institutions and friends to bankroll us. And now even the small money that you had, now you don't have it. We live in Nairobi like everybody else. When I leave this show, I'm expected to pass by a supermarket and buy something for my family. But I don't have that money. I'm expected to wake up every morning, go to City Hall, and plead my case. And Lynn, I can tell you, we've walked on those corridors. As a matter of fact, I can attest that the two of us probably have been in that City Hall more times this year, more than the employees who work in that City Hall. Because every day when you get something small in your pocket, the next thing you think of is, let me go hear what City Hall is, the people are saying. And you'll go there, you'll find people smiling, and they'll tell you, unfortunately, we don't have money. Or they'll tell you we are waiting for supplementary budget to be passed by the county assembly. And you ask yourself, now you are telling me about waiting for the supplementary budget to be passed. And at the end of the month, you'll get your salary. What about me? I put in money. We went and took loan. We've pumped in your projects. I'm not expecting any salary at the end of the month. And this story goes on. You are told, come next week. You wait, you go after 1 week. The story is still the same. We are waiting for supplementary budget, or the money that we were given is not enough.
Yes.
And at times somebody will tell you, you guys, you need to be paying taxes so that you're able to collect more to pay you. And now you start asking yourself, how do I pay tax if I've not been paid? Because KRA will only collect tax from me after I've been paid for what I'm owed.
Yes.
So you ask a lot of questions, but to cut a long story short, things are very hard on us. School fees, for example, if I was to speak for myself, I have 2 candidates this year. And Lynn, schools are opening on 20th of this month. I can guarantee you, unless manna drops from heaven, I have no money to pay for my girls who are sitting for their KCSE this year.
Oh. That's
how bad it is. Somebody will see you putting on a suit, as I said, walking along the streets, and they think everything is okay. If I could be brave enough and tell you some of the things that we are going through. It's heart-wrenching. It breaks my heart when, for example, you read or you hear that the county government came to somebody's aid. There's a time I saw where a lady story went viral, where she was not able to pay school fees. And the following day, I think, or a few hours after, I saw the governor coming, saying that they are going to sponsor that lady. And I was happy for the lady, but I was asking myself, now, what happens to me when I'm not able to pay for my children's school fees? Who do I go to? It's not everybody who has this courage to come in a public platform like this one and raise their concerns. But all the basics needs Lynn. And you can see we are not young men here. We are not even able to meet our basic needs. We are not able to even now. Basic needs is one thing. You are thinking about school fees. Then the Shylock is on your case. The bank is on your case. You go check your emails. You find a demand letter from the bank. Now you wonder what you need to handle. And all these issues I'm raising came about because we just got an opportunity to work for Nairobi County. But things are very tough.
Sure.
What is also disturbing is that there are conditions on those contracts that you are given by the county government. There are timelines within which you are supposed to deliver this job. And we did that on time. Upon payment, they also say that there is what they retain so that the job that you have done can be seen to hold. That is the defect liability period. They withhold about 10%.
For 1 year, yes.
Yeah. To see whether what you have built is not defective.
Yes.
So and it is okay. Time within which time that if there is any defect, you are supposed to go back and repair and do the same. That period is all gone. But they are not paying either. And there are no conditions on the same holes within which they are supposed to pay the job that you have delivered. Yeah. That's not a level playing ground.
Yeah. And you're just the two of you here. Yes. I know with another gentleman behind the camera. Yes. So that makes 3 of you in this room. But collectively, you are also in a group of more than 200 contractors.
Yes.
Are they sharing similar struggles?
Lynn, if we all came in here, we will not have fitted in your studio. We thank God that at least we managed to come here, but most of us can't. There are several cases, and you know, when people hear about guys getting auctioned, guys going into depression, they think it's a joke. It's not, Lynn. We are seeing it in real time. Almost every time you'll hear somebody communicating in our group that you remember so and so. Yes. And you start asking, where did they go to? And you hear, now things became tough in Nairobi, they decided to go back to their village. And once they got into village, somebody isolated himself and got into depression. Those are some of the things that our colleagues are going through. And in our group, the 200, as a matter of fact, we are 217 members. Every morning when you wake up, there's always a new story. And the biggest one is depression and auctions. Those have been the main factors that have been affecting us because no one has money to finance the kind of projects we are talking here.
Yeah.
So we all do the same thing. We are not as big as people might tend to think. And as I said earlier, contracting is like any work that everybody gets involved in. So once you get the project, the small money that you have from your savings or whichever ways you got it, of course you'll always go to somebody else to boost your finances. So once you're not paid within the timelines that you had anticipated, and somebody demands for their money, and hopefully you at that time you are a law-abiding citizen and a good man for that matter, it will get into you. You even start forgetting about your own problem. You start forgetting that, Lynn, that you have a family, and now start thinking now how you are going to pay debts. And at the same time, remember, life will keep on moving on.
Yes.
So nobody, it's either you decide you sit there and lament, or you become proactive. And that's why the two of us who've come here with the blessings of our colleagues, we've decided to be proactive. We can no longer treat this matter as normal. While families are breaking, when all kind of challenges are coming to us, just for the same simple reason that you worked for Nairobi County. And as I said, what else can we do now? It's not easy to reach the governor.
Have you tried
Yes.
reaching directly to him?
Yes. I can show you a text message I sent to him
Yeah.
a while ago. I don't know. I'm sure I know he's a busy man.
Yeah.
Probably he was not able to read my message, but I've tried to reach to him on his WhatsApp. We've gone to his offices many times.
Okay.
Many a times when we've been around City Hall and we see him passing, but can his security allow you to?
Access him.
You can't access him. Everywhere we hear the governor might be passing by. I remember sometime late last year, we heard that the governor was going to Dandora to attend a match in Dandora Stadium to attend a match. And we discussed, I think this is a good opportunity. We thought to ourselves, that might be a good opportunity for us
to access him.
And we were in Dandora Stadium very early in the morning.
Yes.
And we waited, Lynn. We waited from around 10 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday up until 7 o'clock in the evening. Unfortunately, he never showed up. We were informed that he had other matters to attend to within the Dandora area. And the reason why we wanted to see him then was because where Dandora Stadium is not very far off from where we implemented one of our projects. So we would have liked him to come and see it personally.
Yeah.
And hear from the locals on how we worked on the project.
And how it's serving.
Yes,
the
and
local
also now
people.
plead our case and tell him, sir, we need your help. Probably, Lynn, my thinking is, county government is quite huge.
Yes.
You go to the offices, you'll understand how big it is and the number of issues that are being handled there on a daily basis. Maybe the governor might not know about our story because we are many. Every time you hear that the county government has a pending bill of 100 billion shillings. So I know he's dealing with a lot of issues. But now in your using this platform, Lynn, we hope somehow this story will get to him. For him to hear us. We've tried our best to reach him. We can't. If you go to his office, you can't be allowed as an outsider. When you see him in person, there's always security team surrounding him. When you try to contact him, of course, as I said, we've tried to get him on WhatsApp. He's not been able to respond. So we are left with no other means other than to come to Kenyans of goodwill like you to give us a space to raise our concerns. And hopefully once he hears about it, he can call us in person.
Yeah.
And we explain in every detail what we've gone through.
Yes.
And some of the things, we tell him even things that we can't reveal on this platform, for him to see how he can also be able to improve his administration.
I think in the same documents,
Yes.
it would be important for them to write that when you deliver, you should not expect to be paid upfront. It is not known when you will get money. It will depend on whether the government has money or not.
So you
they
plan
put
yourself.
it in writing so that you can plan yourself. Or you'll be told that in government, the buck stops with nobody because it's an amorphous body where...
That's sad.
Yeah, that even if it gets to the governor, he can as well tell you that the government, the county does not have money.
Yeah.
Or even if it gets to the president, he will also tell you the same. It's different with building your house because the buck stops with you.
Yeah.
And we can demand it from you.
Okay.
So I think all these conditions should be put.
So you know what
so
you're
that
getting
you know
into.
what you expect. Yeah. When you are putting your money, you know that it's possible for you to wait for 3 months or 5 years.
To get paid.
To get paid.
But we've spoken about other people who have even come after you, but they are being paid. So what role does kickback play here? First and foremost, feel free to talk about it or not. Do you believe, and I love what you've said, the county government is pretty huge. So I don't want to make an excuse for Sakaja, but maybe he has no idea that you guys have not even been paid.
True.
Maybe he has no idea because again, how are you? I would fault him for lack of a system that he can be able to log into and see whose bills are pending from when.
Yes.
You get it? But also, in terms of kickback, do you think maybe someone is waiting for you guys mumuone kando ndio mpewe yenyu? Is it something that happens? Kwani mjapeana ka 10K yapo mpewe pesa yenyu? Is it something that happens?
And you know, there's always assumption.
Yes.
Sorry, Mr. Joe. There's always this assumption that for you to get projects, money has to change hands.
Yes.
We live in Kenya, and we know what happens.
Yeah.
Indeed, you hear stories. You hear stories that for you to get paid, you need to part with a certain percentage of your invoice value. And for us, having delivered genuine work, and as earlier had put it, we had only put about 20% gross profit on our cost.
Yeah.
Now, when somebody alludes to the fact that you need to part away with, say, 10% or 20%, you wonder where is that money coming from?
The invoice value.
Of the invoice value. And probably the governor might not know, but that story, you hear it a lot in the corridors. Him as a busy man, probably he might not know. But in our case, even if you wanted to, you don't have that money. For example, if somebody told you, not that we support corruption, but when somebody tells you to give you for you, he demands for about 5% from, or whatever figure that he requests from you, to give him out of your project money. As a business person, that story doesn't suffice. You work on very thin margins, and then you have those costs, administrative costs that you are always incurring every day. So indeed, as you asked, we hear there are people who probably
nikuoneza macho.
Yes.
Unitolee pesa yangu.
Yes.
Yeah.
Those stories, it's an open secret.
Okay.
But in our case, nobody has approached us. When we go to the offices, we'll go to the relevant offices. Most of the time, they'll tell you we don't have the money. Wait for a certain period of time, then come back. You see whether you'll have collected enough. And for me, it beats logic because a number of times I've seen the governor telling Nairobians that they've surpassed their collections, their targets, for the money that they had planned to collect for that financial year. And when we see that, of course, you will clap because now you have the hopes of you getting paid.
Yes.
They are becoming a reality. Then you ask yourself now. Last year, Sakaja said he passed his collections budget, same as this year. But where is that money going to? Yes. Because, for example, for us, as I said earlier, for you to be, for a project to be procured, there was a plan, there was a budget. And a budget, although it's a plan, there must have been money that was set aside to support that budget. So we keep on asking ourselves, where did the money go to, the money that was meant to pay us?
Where did it go to?
Where did it go to? Because we delivered the project within the timelines.
Yeah.
Where did that money go to? I think the best person who can answer that is our Nairobi governor. But there are so many questions, Lynn, we can ask ourselves. But the best person who can give us an answer is His Excellency the Governor of Nairobi.
Yeah, but it's also an open secret. That one will get a job and deliver the job with less than 30%. That tells you the kind of job that has been delivered. It's not a job at all.
Yes.
It's a shoddy thing.
Yeah.
Then leave the 70%, whereby they will pick 20 or 30% to push for the pay, and it will still be good to go because 50 or 40%
You're good.
will be available for them. It happens. It is happening. Because we hear of those supplementary budgets. They come, they're available.
Yeah.
But only those ones who will have comfortable kickbacks to give will be paid. But when you deliver a job at 70 or 75%, and there are government taxes that you have to pay, you won't have any money to give them.
As kickback.
And probably that's why we've been lagging behind. It's very open, it's naked. And you'll find people telling you that now the people that we are paying more is legal services because there we get 50%. So what does that tell you? Is that no job was done, but there are papers indicating that there were jobs delivered. Yeah.
Legally, have you explored any options? Can't you sue the county government of Nairobi? Can't you take them to court to pay you?
Good question, Lynn. We tried. We first approached, as a team, we approached one of best renowned lawyers in Nairobi, but the fee note was quite high on us. As we said, we don't have even money for our basic needs.
Yeah.
So the lawyer that we thought was best suited to help us was a bit expensive for us. So when we saw that avenue wasn't working out, we decided to pursue the ombudsman route. They have our documents. We submitted our documents in 2023. Last year.
Yeah.
Yes, 2024. They had promised to pursue the case on our behalf, on pro bono, as they are supposed to. But unfortunately, that has not moved anywhere. We've not had any feedback from them. I'm not blaming them, but they've not come back to us. We were at control of budget. We submitted our documents again, pleading for help from them. They told us still they are going to come back to us. We are still waiting. So in terms of all the available legal channels that we are supposed to pursue, we've tried. And that's why I said, over and above that, we had tried to reach the governor himself at a personal level, which we didn't. I know it's not right because, there's a separation where there's governor, the man, and the governor, there's Sakaja, the man, and Sakaja, the office.
Yes.
So we knew even trying to reach him through his personal channels wasn't right. But what do? A desperate man will clutch at a straw.
True story.
Whatever it takes for you to get paid, you'll do it, so long as it's within the legal parameters. So we've tried the best we could. When you see us here, Lynn, it tells you that now we are almost on the verge of giving up, because if you don't get help from the relevant government authorities, who else do you turn to? If we could have been able to meet the governor himself today, probably we could have been able to express our concerns to him, but we've not been able to.
Are you not scared that by coming here, by saying the county government owes you money, even if you get paid, you will never be given another tender? Is that a fear?
Who would go for such a tender? Anyway. I mean, you put money somewhere and it takes 3 or 4 years to get back.
No, it shouldn't.
And we don't want to go for those shoddy jobs.
Yeah.
That you get a 5 million job just to do something shoddy with 500, and then you spend the rest of your life running for this money. We wouldn't. Personally, I wouldn't.
And as the Muzungu puts it, once bitten,
Twice shy.
Twice shy.
Yes. We had really hoped, in our previous life, the entities that we used to deal with, there was a vetting process at the end of every financial year to check on the contractors who were delivered on their mandate within the required timelines and of required quality. So we had thought the same parameters will be applied in Nairobi County. Well, so far we haven't seen that. We are not burning bridges. Never say never.
Yes.
When an opportunity comes on the table, you'll always look at it, evaluate. put it through your evaluation mechanism. But for now, even not looking about, we are not cared about the future, Lynn. Our concern is now.
Now.
Yes, we just want to be paid.
How will your girls go back to school?
Exactly. That's our biggest concern.
Big concern.
Yes. So issues of working for Nairobi County now or later, let that be a discussion for another day.
Okay.
But for now, all what you are pleading for is just to get our dues.
Listen, high chances are the governor will watch this. And if he has spoken about it before, I understand it's because he knows there are loopholes and there are things that he needs to fix. But high chances someone from his office will forward him this conversation. Maybe looking at that camera, could you communicate what's in your heart to the governor of Nairobi County?
Okay.
Yeah.
His Excellency, the Governor of Nairobi, Mr. Sakaja, Johnson Arthur Sakaja, we are here to plead. We are almost begging now, which will not be the case. But whatever it takes, kindly just hear us out. We delivered projects for Nairobi County. The area MCAs know us. We stated that we worked in Roysambu Ward, we worked in Hamza, Maringo Ward, and also Danora 3 Ward. We delivered quality projects to your engineer's satisfaction. That is 3 years down the line, Mr. Sakaja. And what you are pleading for is just to get paid. We wake up every day like any other Kenyan to better our lives. Now, as we speak to you, our lives are in a limbo because we don't even have nothing to move us further. Kindly hear us out. We are ready for you to call us for a meeting, a one-on-one meeting, and for us to express to you what you've been going through, but most importantly, also to suggest on areas that you can improve on your system so that these issues we are going through will not happen to our counterparts in the future.
Joe?
I wouldn't add much more than what Ken has said, but it's very unfortunate to imagine that what that goes around is that it doesn't matter whether you have completed the job properly and the job is there, it can be seen. But if you don't have a connection within the county government, you will never get paid. If you don't give kickbacks of 20, 30% or whichever, you'll never realize your payments. It's very unfortunate that that is what goes around, and that is what happens in that house. And we are victims because we are trying to play by the rule or by the law. We don't want to go that direction, and we want to see whether it is possible for you to get a government job, do the job properly, have it approved, and get paid for the job you have done. Because that is the right way to go.
Yes.
Yeah, we don't want to believe what goes on within the vineyard. And not the vineyards. It is in the public knowledge that if you don't bribe with a lot of money, you won't get there. You won't get paid, even if you did the job.
Yes.
And just to go about simple mathematics, it is difficult to do a good job and fail to spend almost 70% of your money. Now, when somebody comes and demands 20, 25% from the project amount, what will your profit be? So unless you deliver with 20 or 30% to get enough money to bribe your way to get paid, then you won't get paid. So
Yes.
most of us, we are being pushed to be corrupt.
Yeah.
We want you to prove that it can work differently. That's all I can say.
Okay. Sorry. You're good, Ken?
Yes.
All right. So maybe let me see which number yake. Unajua mtu hata labda hata ajui. So we're just trying to make a call, guys. Not sure it can be picked, but you never know. We're just trying our luck, guys, to call the governor, see if he can pick. Anyway, that's on that. It's not like he has our number, but we were just trying to see if he can be able to pick. But as we've said, I know this will reach his desk.
Yes.
Because 1 or 2 people will forward this. But I think for me, what breaks my heart is knowing the kind of mental anguish you are in right now. I honestly don't think we should work for our government, have projects shining, let them look like they are doing the job, but the people who put their finances at stake here end up not getting paid. If it was 6 months, 3 months, I think understandable. But if we are talking about 3 to 4 years, this is not it. I don't think we can grow as a country by operating this way. And I love that you've said you are willing also to talk to him about some of the things that can be done better to make sure that such things are handled at a better timeline. So hopefully he gets to watch this. But even if they do, how can they connect with you? And do you want to add anything else? Please feel free.
Yes, as Lynn has put it, we are ready to meet the governor any day, any time. And for the county government office to reach us, our email address is, my email address is kennedy.gitau@gmail.com.
Yes.
My contacts are already in Nairobi County. Yes, and our companies are well known.
What's your company's name?
We have Valta Limited and Kefa High End Solutions.
Okay, great. Joe, do you want to add anything?
Nothing much to add. That email is enough.
Yes.
I also got one.
Yeah.
Joe Kim, that is Joe Kim 1960 at gmail.com.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. I'm going to put that on the screen so that people can be able to share. If you are watching, please feel free to also highlight this and let the governor know that there are some 2 incredible gentlemen here. These are fathers, these are husbands, these are amazing citizens that are just here on the show, which shouldn't happen. I don't think we've gotten to a place where we need to have a show where people feel like this is their last resolve. Like, acha tuende kwa Lynn tuone kama tutalipwa. That explains how much they've gone through even before they can let their faces be seen by millions of people, like begging the county government to pay them their dues, which they've really done a good job. I mean, they did what you asked them to do. You signed the contract. Can your word be your bond? I don't want us to get here as a country where we have thousands of people coming out saying the county government owes us or the country owes us this and that. It's rather unfortunate to hear Ken talk about his daughters. Schools are opening pretty much soon after Easter. I know you are catching this around Easter, before or around Easter, and it's very unfortunate to know in a week's time he has to figure out, what am I going to tell my daughters? Very unfortunate to hear someone like Joe, who seems to have an expert opinion on these matters, not even want to work with the county government anymore because he doesn't want to go through another mental anguish. It's unfortunate. And I know if other people were to come out and talk about such matters, we would definitely exhaust. We wouldn't be able to get to all of them. So if you are struggling with this, also leave us your thoughts on the comment section. If this reaches your desk, Sakaja, do the right thing. Like, honestly, do the right thing. Call your people. You promised something. You called the contractors in 2022. You had a conversation. Please, if you can't just call these 2 gentlemen for now and help in handling their case, again, all the details, their company names, their email address are on the screen. So if this reaches your desk, please feel free. If you're not able to access them, get us through info@lnn.digital. Do you want to add anything?
Well, Lynn, we can only appreciate for giving us this platform.
Yeah.
We are grateful. And hopefully, the reason we were coming here was not to be seen like we are attacking any person or any institution. We are just highlighting our issues as they are.
Yes.
And putting a face. You know, people, as I said, they hear of pending bills. So to put a face on those people that are struggling to meet their basic needs because of that buzzword called pending bill.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So shukran sana.
Thank you.
Yeah, guys who are watching at home, again, as we've said, let's play our role into making sure this reaches the office of the county government, and I hope they do the right thing. But allow me to end up or wind up here. I've honestly felt there's also a need for us to continue having more of these discussions, because I know there are people who are suffering behind the curtain. They might not have the courage of Joe and Kennedy to come here on the show, but I kind of feel like this is a struggle for so many people who are working with government agencies. So just know you are not alone, and I hope our government finds a better way to handle such matters. But thank you so much for joining in. I've said if you want to share your story with us, info@lnn.digital. That's where you can be able to find me. I hope you also get to enjoy your Easter. I can't say the same for someone like Joe or Ken. And this shows you guys how bad this really affects people in our society, considering they are just two, but their group has more than 217 members. So now let's not live like this. So, but if you are in a mood to enjoy your Easter, please do so. And I'll see you guys hopefully tomorrow, 10 a.m. or 7 p.m. Bye-bye.